He leaves civilization behind. One man, 1 year, and one impossible goal: to build a self-sustaining village floating in the middle of a remote lake. Watch improvised engineering remake his world. He builds a floating rice field, food that rises and falls with the lake. He sets up animal traps, then turns the catch into a growing farm across land and water. He crafts a pedal-powered boat to explore the wild and push deeper into the unknown. He faces a wild beehive, risking stings for honey and wax. From zero, no supply lines, just skill versus seasons. This isn't just survival, it's design under pressure. By year's end, a village floats, or the lake takes it back. In this isolated wilderness in the rainy forests of Vietnam, survival begins with the bare essentials. The first challenge: transforming nature's raw materials into a foundation for life. Bamboo, strong, buoyant, and abundant, will be the cornerstone of his floating home. The first shore is too steep and rocky for construction. He relocates with his dog to a flatter, sandy bank, a stable workshop to begin the build. For lashings, he utilizes the bamboo itself, splitting the dense fibers into strong, pliable cordage. Building on water is a vital defense. As the rainy season nears, animals like python snakes seek dry refuges, and a land shelter would be their target. It will also make work easier during the entire build, as he will be moving heavy materials across the lake with little effort. Back at the build, a framework of timber begins to rise. His plan is to elevate the main structure to protect it from damp conditions. To create a solid deck, a remarkable technique unfolds. Precise cuts allow the hollow bamboo cylinder to be unrolled, creating a flat, durable floor. With the floating foundation set, he begins hand-carving the timber for the shelter. Instead of metal fasteners, he's using traditional joinery. Square holes called mortises that fit perfectly with matching wooden tenons. This method creates an incredibly strong, rigid frame that can be assembled without a single nail. He has no workshop, no power tools, and no replacements. Everything is being built with just a knife, a saw, and a little hammer. Keeping them in perfect condition isn't just maintenance, it's a matter of survival. After the main wooden roof structure is in place, a grid of bamboo lath is laid to provide essential support for the final layer to come: flattened bamboo shingles. The sheer volume of shingles presents a logistical challenge: how to move hundreds of pounds of material onto the raft efficiently. ingenuity sparks. From the same bamboo resource, he engineers a lever crane. What would have taken hours of back-breaking work is reduced to manageable lifts. It's this kind of ingenuity that will be essential for every challenge he faces in the year to come. For the roof itself, overlapping shingles are key. Each layer directs water downwards, shedding rain away from the structure. Inside the shelter, smaller logs create a raised wooden floor, providing a dry and elevated place to sleep. It's time to extend the main platform. This added space is crucial. It provides stability to the raft and a large area to expand his floating world. Here, he plans to build a kitchen, a small garden to grow his food, and a pond to keep the fish he will be catching. With the basic raft in place, survival depends on food. The lake provides, but so far, it offers only clams, not enough to thrive. He'll soon need to find a better spot along the shore, where the water runs deeper and holds bigger fish. His needs are simple: food from the lake and fresh water, which he travels to a nearby waterfall to collect. Three weeks have passed. After resting, and with some strength regained, he decides it's time to relocate the raft, seeking a place that can sustain him in the months ahead. The new area is rich in resources. With both timber and bamboo nearby, he strengthens the raft and builds a proper shelter. The rainy season is approaching, and his home must be ready to withstand it. As he works, he's not just building for survival, but continuing a legacy. This floating home, built on water, is rooted in a long tradition. For centuries, communities in Southeast Asia have thrived in floating villages, mastering the art of bamboo construction to create entire lives afloat. Back in the forest, sections cut from a large hollowed log will serve as perfect planters for his new garden. He gathers dark soil, a sign that it's full of rotted leaves, which makes it a perfect natural fertilizer for his new garden. Beyond just shelter, he now cultivates life directly on the raft, planting peppers, ferns, and a banana tree, the first seeds of a truly self-sustaining floating home. As life begins to grow on the raft, so does the need for a place to cook and prepare food. He starts to build a covered kitchen, sealing every gap carefully to ensure it will endure through the coming rains. A base of soil and stone holds the heat, perfect for building a solid stove on top. But a proper kitchen means little without better tools for gathering food. Now it's time to work on them. Catching clams by hand is simple, but securing larger, faster fish requires dedicated tools. He begins crafting a spear gun. This tool could change everything. With a single, precise strike, he could bring down a fish to sustain him for the day. Effective underwater hunting also demands clear vision, so he fashions a diving mask. A wasted shot could mean losing his spear or missing his only chance at a meal. Now, the moment of truth. A clean hit. Dinner secured. The new stove proves to work too. A day to celebrate his earned victories. With all its new features, the floating raft is now hard to move for quick trips across the lake. So, a new project begins. A small boat designed for efficient travel and gathering resources. The build relies on human power. With a simple pedal system, he will make it move. The final touch is a rudder and tiller handle, giving him control over direction. The pedal boat proves essential for hauling vast amounts of bamboo. He needs it to expand the floating platform. But this time, he leaves a large, deliberate opening at its center, preparation for his next ambitious project. He's building a bamboo pool. The main frame takes shape on the raft, and later it will be lowered into the platform's opening, where the lake will naturally fill it. In the long term, this design will serve a greater purpose than bathing. The pool will become a fish farm, a self-sustaining source of food. He will raise the fish until they grow large, ensuring a steady supply for the future. 2 months of work mark the arrival of the rainy season, but no wind or rain will stop him from building. The water flows through the bamboo and the pool comes to life, ready for use. His next goal is to gather resources from the mainland, but a successful haul is limited by what he can carry. So, he first builds a backpack carrier, hoping to return with it full. He's searching for more than timber this time. The forest holds potential livestock, but catching it will take more than just his hands. This is the perfect spot for the trap. He's learned to read the subtle signs of the forest. This trail is clean of any cobwebs or debris, a clear signal that it's a high-traffic chicken path. But success here demands patience, hours of quiet waiting. Two catches at once, a remarkable success. This isn't a hunt for a single meal, it's a long-term investment. His plan is to raise this pair, let them multiply, and build a self-sustaining source of food for the future. Life aboard is expanding. The raft carries the beginnings of a farm. The next morning is devoted to the new arrivals, the chickens. A sturdy coop begins to take shape on the extended platform. It's designed not just for shelter, but to keep the chickens safely grounded. With the chickens safely settled, the next challenge is feeding them. He hunts for protein-rich grubs hidden deep inside rotting logs. In solitude, every detail brings him peace. Beyond survival, he's building the home he envisioned, a place of comfort, beauty, and care. And for his meal, the new ecosystem provides. Protein collected from the forest meets fresh chilies, harvested from the garden he planted right on the deck. But foraged food is unpredictable. You can't depend on finding a rotten log every day. It reinforces his long-term goal, to move from finding food to farming it. With a few land animals already on the raft, it's time to bring in some water creatures. He sets out to design a system for catching prime fish that will live in the pond. The secret lies in its clever entrance, built so fish can swim in, but can't find their way out. The trap will be heavy to lift from the water, so he constructs a crane with a wooden pulley to make it easier. Large catfish are common in the area. Even a single catch would provide plenty of food. This catch isn't meant for an immediate meal. It will be the first living resident, carefully nurtured and allowed to grow. As the space grows, he has an idea. Expand the floating garden upward. This new pergola is a clever, dual-purpose design. While it offers a new shady space, this simple frame will soon carry life. By training climbing plants upward, he multiplies his growing space without expanding his raft. The vines will rise and hanging fruits will grow in the air, away from pests and rot. And as the floating home grows, so does the risk of losing everything under heavy rains and winds. More expansion will bring more stability, giving his home extra weight and strength against strong currents. But this new platform isn't just for space. It's the foundation for his most ambitious project yet. He'll grow his own floating rice field. The rainy season is exactly what the rice paddy needs. But the storms that bring it are his new enemy. He must start with a strong foundation. The large banana leaves create a waterproof liner to hold the soil. But the real ingenuity is in the soil itself. He's making his own organic fertilizer, a rich mix of composted leaves and charcoal from his stove, to ensure the rice has enough nutrients to grow. With the bed secure, he can finally plant the rice. He'll now have to tend this paddy for the next 3 to 4 months before harvesting, hoping for a successful crop. Stocking the fish farm is proving harder than he thought. He's been struggling to catch anything else in the waters around the raft. He needs a new strategy. The fish aren't coming to him, so he must go to the fish. For that, he's building a new trap, one he can use on his boat to hunt the lake's deeper, more promising channels. This new design is all about mobility. Unlike the first heavy trap, this one is light, agile, and built to be portable, allowing him to actively hunt all over the lake. He takes with him the pulley design and fits it to the new trap, ready for the journey ahead. While the trap soaks, he ventures off to explore the wildlife around the waterfalls. He is not just waiting on the fish, he's looking for something else to complete the meal. Crabs. The new area rewards him with a successful day of fishing, adding a turtle and a fish of considerable size. Since the crabs will be enough for dinner, the other species will be kept in the pond. For the past week, strong winds have tested the structure at night, and he fears his kitchen may be too exposed. So he acts before problems arise, starting over from the ground up. This time, the design of the new kitchen is deliberate, reinforced from the start to withstand any storms. It will function as a second cabin, featuring a cooking space and a separate dining area, all sheltered under two roofs. It marks 6 months since he began this project with nothing. Bamboo poles and timber have turned into a self-made homestead rising from the water. He has a main shelter, a pedal boat, a stocked fish farm, live chickens, and gardens producing food. He's built hunting traps and engineered tools to catch what the lake hides beneath the surface. What began as survival has become self-sufficiency. He takes advantage of the good weather to finish the cabin today. The roof has to be solid, so he treats bamboo with fire, making it pliable. This allows him to bend it into curved tiles for a more waterproof seal. He makes sure he seals the walls and windows against the weather. He's planning to build a mud stove inside, and any rain or moisture could ruin the clay, making the kitchen unusable. His first stove was a simple stack of stone and mud. For this permanent kitchen, he's building a far more advanced model. Made from pure, dense clay. The wooden formwork is the key. It allows him to pack the mud tightly, creating a solid, single-piece stove that is much more durable and heat-efficient. Today, he's on the hunt for a new food source. Freshwater snails, usually found clinging to the rocks in the stream. For such a big catch, he'll need a container, so he improvises a basket. Some of the snails are released to breed, clean the water, and provide a self-sustaining food source for the fish. The rest are for him, a meal rich in protein, paired with fresh chili peppers and bamboo shoots from his own garden. Today, he's staying here. No long trips or visits to the mainland, just a day to work and enhance his home. For some time, he's been looking for an easier and more efficient way to fish from home. So he left a large, deliberate opening in his platform, a bay for a future net system. He begins by crafting a tool to weave the large net, custom-sized for the opening he's prepared in the water. This system is known as a lift net, one of the oldest and most efficient passive fishing methods in the world. The principle is simple. Instead of chasing fish, you let them come to you. The wide net rests just below the surface, nearly invisible in the still water. When fish gather above it, the entire frame rises in a single, smooth motion, trapping them before they can react. To operate it, he builds a new crane structure, fitted with hand-carved wooden pulleys that allow the net to glide effortlessly up and down. If it works, He will no longer need to tire himself searching for food. A reliable source of fish will be just a few steps away. Before the real test, he checks the mechanism. Success. The pulleys perform perfectly, making the lift smooth and controlled. All the preparation is complete. Now, he lowers it back into place and waits. As a hook, light. A clever technique. The glow draws schools of fish directly over the trap, guiding them into his carefully planned system. Hours later, he lifts the net. And the catch is real. Several fish are caught inside the net. This meal marks a milestone. The fish from his new net are paired with a fresh-grown loofah from the vines above and chilies from his garden. It's his first complete meal sourced entirely from the self-sustaining ecosystem he has engineered. The pedal boat has served its purpose, but it's failing. Slow, unstable, and taking on water, it's no longer safe. This log is the answer. In his skilled hands, it will be transformed into a canoe. The first step is cutting it into planks. To keep the wooden boat watertight, he comes up with an idea. Harvest sap from a special tree and use its sticky latex to make a natural sealant keeping the water out. The design has to account for everything: space for supplies and a safe spot for his dog. After 9 months in this remote water world, his floating rice paddy is finally golden and heavy. The harvest is just days away, and he plans to use the leftover wood from the canoe to craft the new tools he'll need to gather it. His new boat draws inspiration from traditional Vietnamese canoes. Unlike most designs, the rower sits high above the deck, improving balance, visibility, and control. Some fishermen even row with their feet, keeping their hands free to steer, cast nets, and manage traps all at once. The canoe is ready. It's time to see how it handles the lake. It works, and it's much faster than the pedal boat. After months of waiting, his floating rice paddy is finally ready. The plants are full of grain. He's one step closer to adding rice to his menu. But harvesting is only the beginning. To turn these stalks into a bowl of rice, he must master several techniques and build his own tools for every step of the process. First, he needs to build a wooden box to collect the rice grains. When he strikes the stalks against it, the heavy grains fall easily into the box. Next, the grains must be dried, or they will rot. For that, he weaves a large bamboo mat to spread the rice across it, and will set it in the sun to dry. A wooden rake will let him spread the rice evenly over the mat, so every grain dries properly. Over the next few days, the heat will draw out all the water inside. Now comes the hardest part. Each grain of rice is wrapped in a tough, inedible skin called a hull. It's incredibly tough and won't come off without a fight, so he needs a way to break it. He begins by carving a massive, heavy wooden bowl, a mortar. The rice will go inside, to be pounded by a hammer until the hulls break away. That mortar will have to withstand hundreds of powerful blows, so he uses fire to harden the wood, an ancient technique that makes the surface incredibly tough and resistant to cracking. Pounding all that rice by hand is too hard, so he engineers a foot-powered trip hammer. This lever machine will use his own body weight to lift and drop the wooden hammer, doing the hard work of smashing the hulls for him. The pounding leaves a messy mix of rice and broken skins. To separate them, he builds one last tool, a bamboo tray. He will pour the rice onto it and toss the mix into the air. The wind will carry away the light husks, while the clean grains fall back to the tray. This clever, age-old process is called winnowing. He has finally done it. From small seeds, he has produced a harvest of his own rice, the most rewarding meal so far. The scent of this food attracts some familiar visitors. For days, 2 small kittens have been cautiously coming and going. Now, with this harvest, he decides to feed and keep them as new companions. The fruits of his labor are on the table. At last, he has a home that nourishes him completely. His farm is thriving, but his gardens are missing a key helper. Without bees to pollinate them, his flowering plants won't produce fruit or vegetables. So, a new project begins, to find and bring home an entire wild hive, and with it, a new source of food for his floating home, honey. He has found one. This is the delicate part. He must fell the tree and extract the colony. without harming the queen or losing the swarm. To convince the thousands of bees to stay, he must build them a new home. He engineers a modern beehive. The true genius is inside, removable frames. This is the secret to beekeeping. It allows him to harvest honey without destroying the hive. Now comes the real danger, opening the log and seeing how the bees react, completely unprotected. With his bare hands, his first move is the most critical. He must find the queen and place her in the new hive first, so the rest of the colony follows. He thinks he has found it. Now he can safely transfer the comb, containing their young and their food, to their new home. His plan works perfectly. The entire hive surrounds the queen inside of the box. Soon, these bees will fly out, visiting every flower in his garden. They are the pollinators that will turn those blossoms into the food he needs. He has secured the future of his farm and earned the sweetest reward this island has to offer: honey. With the rice harvested, his farm enters a new season. It's time to expand his food supply by building a second, larger garden for everyday vegetables. He heads to the mainland to get some soil. And he also brings back young, wild greens. By transplanting them directly, he'll have a new harvest in weeks, not months. Before adding the soil, he lays a foundation of dried straw. This is the secret to a long-lasting floating garden. The straw stops the valuable soil from washing away. And as it rots, it will create a rich compost, feeding the new plants. The new garden is planted, and the cycle of food production continues. This is the moment his fish farm was built for. The catfish he caught and released into the pond months ago has been patiently raised, and now it's ready to harvest. A fish this size deserves a special preparation. He won't use the kitchen stove. He plans to hot smoke it. A technique that uses hot, circulating smoke to slowly cook and flavor the meal at the same time. The custom vertical smoker, with its tall enclosed design, will cook the fish slowly and evenly. This isn't just a catch. It's the culmination of months of investment. The ingenuity to build the traps, the engineering to create the pond, and the patience to let the fish grow, all lead to this one perfect harvest. He prepares the fish with herbs gathered from his own garden. To hang the fish inside the smoker, he invents another tool, a bamboo clamp. It holds the fish perfectly over the smoldering fire. The final reward, smoked catfish, seasoned with his own herbs, ready to be enjoyed. There's a problem on the raft. The kittens haven't appeared for the past 2 days. For small creatures, the mainland is full of dangers. He readies himself for the journey to find them, weaving a basket in the hope of bringing them home. He heads for the waterfalls, suspecting they may have taken shelter in the caves. His fears are confirmed. One of the cats is there. But the other one? Both cats are safe again, and he can head back home, relieved. Fishing takes longer with 4 mouths to feed: the kittens, the dog, and himself. Still, the company makes it worth the time. Life on the raft has found a new rhythm. Survival is no longer the goal. Now it's about living peacefully and caring for those he loves. The heavy work is over. The final phase of this journey is about refinement. replacing old, worn-out items with new ones. The low table he eats on has served him well, but it's time for an upgrade. Using his mastered joinery skills, he crafts a new one from fresh, green bamboo. To go with the new table, he carves a new cup, patiently shaping it from the solid, dense base of a bamboo stalk. After 10 months of labor, he can finally enjoy the simple, refined comforts of the home he has built. "12 months ago, he left civilization behind, venturing into the wild to start a new life with nothing but simple tools and an audacious plan. Today, his vision stands before him. Nature is no longer his enemy. It is his companion. A home, self-sustained, and built entirely by his own hands. His daily meal is proof of that success. But this piece was hard-won. He learned to hunt with a spear gun, built fish traps to sustain his growing fish farm, and crafted his own boats to explore the surrounding waters. Later, he engineered a massive lift net, one that could fish even while he slept. In time, he began growing his own food, capturing wild chickens and taming a wild bee colony for honey and pollination. Fish from the waters he mastered, snails from the pond he built, vegetables from the gardens he planted. He proved what is possible with only 2 hands and the patience to learn, adapt, and see a challenge through to the end. His village now thrives, a testament that true self-sufficiency isn't about conquering nature, but about becoming a part of it.